If you have lupus or any kind of photosensitivity, I'm sure you've heard the advice a million times. Avoid the sun. It's pretty much the first thing everybody tells you, right? Nobody actually tells you how to get from your car into the grocery store, or how to pick your kids up from school without triggering a flare that can knock you out for weeks. I get it, because I live it. I have lupus, and I have spent years trying to figure out what actually works. So that's what this is about, sharing what I've learned for those real-life moments, for trying to exist in a world that, wasn't really built for us. Okay, first things first. We have to talk about why our relationship with the sun is just fundamentally different. Understanding this is the key to seeing why most of the typical sun advice you hear just completely misses the mark for people like us. And this slide right here, this really nails the problem. See, standard advice assumes that people have some level of tolerance for UV radiation. We just don't. For us, a few minutes of sun coming through a car window isn't harmless. That can be the very thing that triggers weeks of joint pain, fatigue, and rashes. Seeking a little shade just isn't going to cut it. We need a complete physical barrier between us and the sun. And if you've ever felt like you're alone in this, or maybe even being dramatic, I want you to just look at this number. You are not. This isn't some rare thing. For up to 70% of people with systemic lupus, photosensitivity is a major part of the disease. Your experience is real, it's valid, and a huge community shares it with you. So to protect ourselves the right way, we have to know what we're actually up against. It's not just the sun in general. It's a very specific type of radiation that is, frankly, incredibly sneaky. This table really breaks it down. Let's focus on that top row, UVA. Notice it says it penetrates deep into the skin, and, this is the most important part, it goes right through glass and clouds. So while UVB is what causes sunburn, and it's what most sunscreens focus on, for many of us with lupus, UVA is the primary trigger for a flare, and it's everywhere, all the time. That's why you can feel awful after a long car ride, or even on a completely overcast day. Okay, so knowing that we need serious UVA blocking protection, let's get into the tools. I have tried and tested so many UV umbrellas, and trust me, they are not all created equal, not even close. Let's just get this one out of the way right off the bat. You know those cheap $20 or $30 sun umbrellas you see all over the internet? Just avoid them. They might claim they have UV protection, but without any real verification, you have no idea if they're blocking the UVA rays that actually make us sick. It's a gamble that's just not worth taking with your health. All right, here are the 3 real contenders that are actually worth your time and money. You've got the Coolabar, which is a great, trusted brand, but the canopy is a little small. Then there's the G4 Free, and this is the best budget-friendly option I found that still has verified protection. And let's be honest, that matters a lot when you're managing a chronic illness. And finally, you have the UV blocker. So let's take a closer look at why this one really stands out as the top choice. So what makes this UV blocker so special? Well, for starters, it's verified to the absolute highest standard possible, blocking almost 100% of those dangerous UVA rays. It's also endorsed by the Melanoma International Foundation. That's a serious medical stamp of approval. But for me, it's also that it was founded by a melanoma survivor, someone who truly, deeply gets why this level of protection is so necessary. Oh, and that solar tech fabric? It's not a gimmick. You can actually feel that it's way cooler underneath. So, yeah, after all the research, all the testing, this is it. This is the one I carry with me everywhere. Every single day, from my car to the doctor's office, walking into the grocery store, taking the dog for a quick walk, it's the tool that gives me a piece of my life back. It just flat out works. Now, as incredible as this umbrella is, it's not a magic bullet. It's probably the most important piece of the puzzle, but it's part of a bigger system you need to build to really keep yourself safe. I've learned to think about my protection in layers. The umbrella is my #1 shield for any time I step outside. Underneath that, UPF 50+ clothing is like my base layer of armor. Then, broad-spectrum sunscreen is there to cover any little gaps, like on my hands or neck. Now, #4 is a big one people miss. UVA blocking film for your car windows is a total game changer. It protects you from all that sneaky exposure that adds up over time. And finally, just being smart about timing, running your errands early in the morning or later in the afternoon, that alone can make a huge difference. So let's just zoom out for a minute and talk about the big picture. Because this isn't just about avoiding flares. It's about figuring out how to actually live a full life with this condition. I know when you're first diagnosed or you're new to all this, it feels overwhelming. It feels like a prison. But I promise you, it does get easier. All this prep work becomes a habit, just like grabbing your keys before you leave the house. You stop thinking so hard about it. It just becomes your routine, and that routine is what lets you get back out into the world. And finally, let's talk about something that we all deal with because it is going to happen. You'll be using your umbrella on a bright sunny day and people are going to stare. They might even say something. So what do you do then?
This is what I really want you to take away from all of this. You can say it's for a medical condition or I have a sun allergy. Sure, if you want to, but you don't have to. You do not owe a single stranger an explanation for taking care of your own body. Your health, your well-being, that comes first. Period.